Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Gaur Premanande Haribo. Om Jnanatimarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Nitamscha. He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate. Tapta Kanchana Gauranke Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakaupatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Sarasati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So yesterday we were explaining a little about the nature of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How on one hand he could be as soft as a rose, and on the other hand, as hard as a thunderbolt. We spoke about how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed his mercy on Shivananda, rather Srivas Thakur and Murari Gupta, Shivananda Sen, those people who were his very pure, surrendered devotees. And we heard about how Lord Chaitanya dealt with those who were non-believers, like Gopal Chapal. We spoke about him. Hare Krishna. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we were trying to explain, he is a social reformer. And he came to expose the shortcomings in the Brahminical society and to point out the advantages of the Vaishnava philosophy and the position of the Vaishnava philosophy, how it compares to the Saktas, those people who worship Bhavani and Goddess Durga and so on. So Lord Chaitanya had to deal with opposition from the Brahminical community, the smarter Brahmins. They did not like his preaching, and they informed the Mohammedan ruler, well, not exactly the ruler, but the magistrate known as the Chandkazi. Prabhupada says, even today, the descendants of the Chandkazi are living here in Mayapur. So we know the Samadhi of the Chandkazi is here in Mayapur. And on the Parikrama, every year, we always visit there to the Samadhi of the Chandkazi. So, in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur has described in some detail how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his influence, was restoring people's faith in Hindu Dharma. And people were becoming enthusiastic in following the religious principles. And more people were taking to the chanting of the holy name. It was going on in many different homes by the preaching of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. However, this drew the attention of the non-believers. And eventually these non-believers approached the Chandkazi, the magistrate who is responsible to keep law and order and to keep peace within the society, and they complained to him that because of this Nimai Pandit, the people are disturbing everywhere. There's so much disturbance going on, banging of drums and beating of cymbals. People are becoming mad. Sometimes they roll on the ground. Sometimes they shed tears. We don't know what's going to become of our town if we don't do something about this Nimai Pandit. So like this, they came to the Chandkazi and voiced their protests. So the Chandkazi had to take action, and he came to investigate. And when he came across a group of people chanting the holy name and beating the madanga, then the Chandkazi broke madanga. And then he threatened all the performers of the kirtan that I'll let you off this time, but if I catch you doing this again, I will take away all of your property and I will make you into Mohammedans as well. Of course, 500 years ago, in the times of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to convert someone from a Hindu to a Mohammedan was a very easy thing. One could simply sprinkle some water on that person, and in this way the Hindu would lose his position as a Hindu and become a Mohammedan. Of course, sometimes people were even more aggressive, and sometimes they would force cow flesh into the mouth of the Hindu. And in this way, the Hindu would be obliged to give up his status as being a Hindu and become a Mohammedan. So, the Chankasi warned the people, why have you become so enthusiastic in your Hindu Dharma all of a sudden? In the past, we never saw this. In the past, you were living peacefully, there was no disturbance. But now, recently, so much disturbance is going on that all of you have become so enthusiastic in your Hindu Dharma all of a sudden. Who's responsible for this? Bhakti has to come from a devotee, right? You don't become a devotee without contacting someone who has devotion. So, because of the presence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhakti was being propagated, and the Hindu Dharma was becoming reinforced, and people were becoming enthusiastic again to practice their religious principles. As it's stated, Kali Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan Krishna Shakti Vininahi Tara Pravartan. In the Kali Yuga, the Dharma for this Kali Yuga is the chanting of the holy name. And in order to propagate the chanting of the holy name, there has to be someone empowered with Krishna Shakti. So 500 years ago, Krishna himself came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to personally inaugurate the Sankirtan movement. Chanting of the holy names was already going on, but it was much more restricted. And it was understood that only a Brahmana could chant the name of the Lord. And if one was not born in the Brahmana caste, one had no right to chant the holy name of the Lord. However, it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who gave the holy name to everyone, propagated the Sankirtan so that everyone could take part in this Sankirtan movement. So the Chankasi warned the devotees, be very careful. I won't let you away with this again. However, when the devotees submitted what had happened to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya told them, don't worry about them, just go on with Sankirtan. Don't worry about it, don't be afraid. Of course, naturally the devotees felt some anxiety from this, because it's a very dangerous situation to think that if the Chankasi will come, or if someone will report us to the Chankasi that we have been chanting the holy name, then the Chankasi may come and he may take all of our property away, and we will become Mohammedans, we'll lose everything. So the devotees, although Lord Chaitanya was telling them to go on with the Sankirtan movement, they felt some anxiety in that situation. Lord Chaitanya, understanding the minds of those people, he encouraged them that you gather together all of you, together. We will make one procession this evening. I want all of you to come and bring with you a torchlight. And also decorate your homes. At the door of your homes, I want you to decorate your homes with auspicious articles like coconut and flowers and water pots. And also put torchlights outside your home. And in this way, let everyone know you are the believer in the religious principles of the Vedas, according to Sanatana Dharma. So on the order of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the devotees gathered. And in Chaitanya Bhagavat, there is a description. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, description is a little different. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, it describes that there were three groups. The first group was headed by Advaita Acharya, with Haridas Thakur in the second group, and Srivas Pandit leading the third group. And Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda moving between the groups. Lord Nityananda said, I will go wherever Lord Chaitanya goes. So they were always together. However, in the Chaitanya please take care for the children. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's described a little differently. There, Krishnadas Kaviraj describes that in the first group was Haridas Thakur, and then in the second group was Advaita Acharya, and then Lord Chaitanya was in the third group with Lord Nityananda. It seems particularly appropriate that Haridas Thakur would be in the front, because their main purpose in protesting and performing this Sankirtan was to protest against the rule, against the order of the Chankasi, that there should be no more Sankirtan. The Chankasi told them, no more Sankirtan on the streets. Prabhupada talks about how our devotees were persecuted in different parts of the world for performing Sankirtan. He particularly mentions Melbourne, Australia, that they tried to completely ban the Krishna consciousness movement. But today, the Melbourne temple is very successful and has a very big congregation, and regularly Sankirtan is performed without any obstruction from the authorities. It is all the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada explains that Lord Chaitanya defeated the Chankasi by reason and argument. In the same way, he encourages us that when we get opposition to Sankirtan, we must use reason and argument to defend the Sankirtan movement and to push on the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to spread the chanting of the holy name. The preaching mission is really meant to establish Sankirtan. Prabhupada was always anxious to know, is the Sankirtan going on nicely? And when Prabhupada spoke about Sankirtan, he didn't just mean book distribution. He meant particularly the chanting of the holy name, the kirtan. Because all of our books are emphasizing the importance of kirtan. So when the book distribution is successful, then people will take up the chanting of the holy name. So Lord Chaitanya ordered all the devotees to organize themselves like this. And they gathered gradually a few devotees, and gradually more devotees came. And as more came, more and more came, and gradually there were thousands of devotees, and then there were lakhs of devotees. They all came to join Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan, and they went all over Navadvip. They went from one different part of Navadvip to another. It is described that initially there were 9 different small sections of Navadvip. And Lord Chaitanya went to each and every one of these sections, loudly chanting the holy name. And with thousands of people joining him, nobody could protest. All the disbelievers looked with great envy as the Sankirtan party passed by, but none of them could do anything to stop. But they would remark to each other, just wait till the Chankasi comes. When the Chankasi comes, then we'll see how brave they are. We will see if they're really so strong in their faith. So as the party moved through Navadvip, gradually they came to the home of the Chankasi. And the Chankasi could hear the noise because lakhs of people were protesting. And they were chanting loudly. There was a huge vibration of the holy name. And some of the people were also even becoming angry. And they were voicing their anger. Lord Chaitanya himself had expressed to the devotees that I will kill these people, these non-believers. Of course, we should understand that when Lord Chaitanya says he will kill, he is not talking about violence to the body, but he will kill the demonic mentality which is within the person. As we know from the Jagai Madhai Lila, Lord Nityananda reminded Lord Chaitanya that in this age he must be merciful. And we must kill the demonic qualities, not the person, but the demonic nature which is within the person. So Lord Chaitanya was voicing this expression that I will kill them, I will kill them. And of course, the Chankasi, he sent some of his servants to find out what is going on. Why is there so much disturbance and so much light? So many torches are burning. What is happening? So the Chankasi's men went and they were shocked to see all of the devotees coming in a very big procession, and they were voicing their anger and their bitterness towards the Kasi for stopping the Sankirtan movement. They also became very afraid. Some of them, they didn't even go back again to tell the Kasi. They just wanted to save their own life. Some of them tried to hide their beards, put their heads down, and tried to enter in among the devotees and pretend that they were devotees themselves. However, 1 or 2 of them did go back and warn the Kasi what is happening. So they tried to hide in their home. So Nimai Pandit led his party to the home of the Chankasi. And it took some time before the Kasi could come out. In fact, Lord Chaitanya's followers, they were even thinking to burn the home of the Kasi. But they decided this is not very good, not appropriate. However, after some time, then the Kasi did come down from upstairs, from his hiding place. He came out to meet with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya inquired from him that, I'm coming to visit you. why you're hiding yourself? Why you take so long to come to receive me? What's the problem? The Chankasi said, well, I saw you were coming in such an angry mood. I wanted to wait till you calm down a little before I come to meet you. Because if while you're in this angry mood, it will be difficult to speak to you. Therefore, I wanted to wait for some time. Now you're a little calmer, I'll come and speak to you. The Chankasi said, in our village relationship, your grandfather, your maternal grandfather, Nilambar Chakravarti, was my uncle. Right? Nilambar Chakravarti, the father of Sachi Mata. So Chankasi said, he was like my uncle. So you are like my nephew. When the uncle does some offensive, does something wrong, the nephew should not get angry. And when the nephew gets angry, the uncle tolerates. He doesn't take it very seriously. And in this way, the Chankasi was speaking to Nimai Pandit, trying to pacify the situation. The other people, other devotees listening, they could not understand what is the actual meaning of their discussion. So then Nimai Pandit said to the Chankasi that, I have some questions I want to ask you. So Chankasi said, yes, whatever is your question, I will try to answer. So then Lord Chaitanya said to the Kasi, he said that, you Muslim people, that you are killing the cow, you're eating the cow, although the cow provides milk. Although the cow is like a mother and provides milk, but you eat her flesh. And the bull is plowing the field to produce grain. So the bull is like a father, but still you kill the bull also. What kind of religion is it where there is killing of the mother and the father? So the Chankasi replied that, well, in our everything is according to scriptures. He said, just like you Hindu people, you have your scriptures, the Vedas. He said, in our Mohammedan tradition, we have the Quran. So in the Holy Quran, there are two paths. There is Nivriti Marg and Pavriti Marg. Nivriti Marg, the path of renunciation, of reducing sense pleasure. And Pavriti Marg, the path of enjoying sense pleasure. So in the path of enjoying sense pleasure, meat eating is allowed according to scripture. But in the Nivriti path, then it's not allowed. So there are two paths, and generally the people in our community, they follow the path of Pravriti. They desire to eat the flesh, and they eat according to the scriptures. And then the Chankasi went on to say that even you Hindus, you also perform cow killing. You have also your sacrifices according to the Vedas, where you kill the cows. And so immediately Nimai Pandit rejected. He'd argued, but countered this and said, no, no, no. He said, in our Hindu Dharma, we do not kill the cow. It is never allowed. And Lord Chaitanya explained, however, that in the past, in previous ages, the Brahmanas were very pure and powerful. And sometimes, some rare times, in order to show the potency of a mantra, there would be killing of an animal. But it would be done for the benefit of that animal, so that that animal would take birth rejuvenated. But it was never done just simply for killing so that we could eat the flesh. And Lord Chaitanya then went on to say that in this age, in this Kali Yuga, it is prohibited. As stated in the Brahmavaivarta Purana, Ashvamedam Gavalambyam Sannyasam Palapaitrakam. Panchavarjam, Kalo Panchavivarjayet. There are 5 acts prohibited in the Kali Yuga. One is the offering of a cow in sacrifice, the offering of a horse in sacrifice, offering of flesh to one's ancestors, begetting a child in the womb of one's brother's wife, and the taking of sannyas are all prohibited in the Kali Yuga. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya explained that there's no allowance for killing the cow. And he went on to say that anybody who kills the cow, they're performing the most sinful activity. And they're destined to take a hellish birth for as many millions of lifetimes as there are hairs on the body of the cow. Just think how many hairs are on the body of a cow. And then millions of births for every hair. So this is the statement of Shastra. Lord Chaitanya said that cow killing can be done for the benefit of the cow. But if you kill the cow just simply for your sense gratification, then you're getting hellish life. So he warned the Chankasi that this is the situation, that if you're killing the cow, you will have to suffer very greatly for this. And the Chankasi, hearing this from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he admitted defeat. And he went on to explain that actually it's true that in our scriptures there are many misinterpretations and there is no proper understanding, there is no good philosophy being presented in our scriptures. So then Lord Chaitanya then asked the Kazi, let me ask you another question. Why are you allowing the chanting of the Sankirtan movement to go on? You are the magistrate and you have the right to restrict any of our activities, even our own religious activities, because you're the ruler, you're in charge of the situation and you can stop any of our activities. But regularly our devotees are going and chanting and dancing. They're performing the congregational chanting of the holy names. So why are you allowing this? The Chankasi then was a little reluctant to speak on this in public. And he requested Lord Chaitanya, he said, can we go to some quiet place and I can talk to you alone? But Lord Chaitanya said, no, it's all right. All of these people here are my trusted associates. Whatever you say to me, it is confidential, even if they are present. You don't have to fear them. So then Lord Chaitanya, then the Chankasi said to Nimai Pandit, he said, people all call you Gaura Hari. Let me also call you as Gaura Hari. Gaura Hari ki. So Chankasi said to Gaura Hari, he said that yes, he said, one day I did try to stop the Sankirtan. And that one day I even broke the Mridanga drum. However, that night in my dream, as I lay on my bed, a ferocious figure appeared in front of me, half lion and half man. And he jumped on my chest and took me by the throat and told me in very fierce words that you dare to break my Mridanga? You dare to stop the chanting of the holy names? How dare you threaten my devotees? So he was very ferocious and roaring, just like lions are known to roar. And he warned the Chankasi that if you do ever like this again, I will certainly, just as you have ripped the Mridanga, I will rip your chest. And just to give him a warning, he drew his nails across my chest. The Chankasi opened his shirt to show the nail marks on his chest, just resembling those of the scratches placed by a lion. So the Chankasi described how this lion-like figure had appeared to him and warned him not to interfere with the Sankirtan movement. However, he did not tell anyone about this dream. The next day, when his men went to try to stop the Sankirtan, they got difficulties. His different officers went, and whenever they heard that there was some chanting, some kirtan going on, they went to try to stop the devotees. But whenever they approached them, fire burned their faces, and their beards caught fire. Blisters came on their face. They were unable to approach them. This happened not just once, but several times to different people. As they each went to try to stop the Sankirtan, somehow, mysteriously, fire would burn their faces and they would be forced to retreat. The Chankasi also described how some of the Mohammedan men would try to joke or try to mock at the devotees for chanting the holy name. And they would laughingly call out the names of Hari and Krishna. They would call out the Lord's name, and in this, but the problem was that after they had mockingly chanted the holy name, they could never stop chanting the holy name. The name would not leave them. Once it appeared on their tongue, it would not give up. And they could not stop, they could not control their own tongues. And unwillingly, they were chanting the holy name. The Brahmins, they were also complaining. They were saying, this Nimai Pandit, he has ruined our Hindu Dharma. We do not find anywhere in the Hindu Dharma about this Sankirtan. Sometimes in the worship of Mangalachari and Mangalachandi and these kind of demigods, we may do chanting and singing. But we have never heard the way this Nimai Pandit does it. Rolling on the floor in ecstasy, and the loud cries they make, the banging and the noise is tumultuous. We cannot even sleep at night because of them. But we think you should get this Nimai Pandit to leave the town. Get him out of Navadvip before Navadvip is submerged by the Ganga. Because of him ruining the religious principles, the whole of Navadvip will be drowned. This way the Brahmanas, the smarter Brahmanas, were all talking to the Chandkasi. But the Chandkasi was telling Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about this. And then he said to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, I think that Narayan, he is the Lord of all the Hindus, and I think you are that same Narayan himself. So the Chandkasi was not a foolish person, he was a wise, educated man, and he was open to reason and argument. And he was convinced by the potency of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that this Sankirtan was actually a powerful, good thing for the whole world. As it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tasmat Sankirtanam Vishnu Jagan Mangalam Amhasham, that there is nothing more auspicious than Sankirtan. It destroys unlimited amounts of sins. So it is the effect, the power of Sankirtan, through chanting of the holy name, all sinful activities can be reduced and stopped. People can be changed, they can become godly simply by association with the holy name. So the Chandkasi then submitted his appeal to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Lord Chaitanya then said to the Chandkasi, so what about my devotees here in Navadvip? What is the situation? Are you going to interfere with the Sankirtan? And the Chandkasi promised Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that as long as my descendants in my family, in my dynasty live, no one will ever interfere with the chanting of the holy name. And Srila Prabhupada comments on this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that even in the 1940s, when there was a partition of India and separation of East and West Bengal and Pakistan and India, like that, so at these times there was a lot of Hindu-Muslim riots. But even at that time, here in Navadvip, in Mayapur, the Muslim people respected the Sankirtan of the holy name, and they did not try to stop it. So this, by the mercy of the Chandkasi, the Sankirtan is going on today. And the Chandkasi actually joined the Sankirtan movement, and he went with Lord Chaitanya and all the devotees. And they went and visited more villages, more parts of Navadvip. The Chandkasi was with them, and he was also chanting the holy name with them. So he had become the devotee. So that is why when we go to the Chandkasi Samadhi, we see there are two trees there. One is the Neem tree, representing Nimai Pandit, who appeared underneath the Neem tree and who was known as Nimai. And there's also a Champaka tree, because the nickname of the Chandkasi was Champak. So these two trees are there, entwined together there at the Chandkasi Samadhi. So it's an important place, and it's also an important landmark, because it's by the position of that Chandkasi Samadhi that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada and Bhaktivinoda Thakur could understand the correct position of the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was one of the very important landmarks which showed that the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to be on this side of the Ganga and not over on the other side, as some people claimed. So Lord Chaitanya then continued with his Sankirtan party, and they proceeded to go to the home of Kolaveka Sridhar. Right? The home of Kolaveka Sridhar is not very far away from the birthplace of, well, usually when we go to Jagannath Mandir at Rajpur, from the Jagannath Mandir we go across a couple of fields and we reach the place of Koloveka Sridhar. And Lord Chaitanya brought the Sankirtan party there to the home of Koloveka Sridhar. And when he came there to the home of Koloveka Sridhar, Lord Chaitanya took up the pot of water which was outside the home of Sridhar. Now, Sridhar was not a wealthy person. He was a very simple person. He maintained his life just simply by selling whatever was produced by the few banana trees which he had growing on his piece of land. And so you know, if you have banana trees, it's not very easy. You don't get a lot of fruit, you don't get a lot of produce. But somehow Koloveka Sridhar was maintaining himself. And he was maintaining himself according to very strict religious principles. Whatever income he got, he would always spend 50% to worship Mother Ganga. And he would not compromise on this principle. Srila Prabhupada also writes in the Nectar of Instruction that this is a very nice standard for devotees. If you give 50% of your income for the service of the Krishna consciousness movement, then that is very, very good. You're doing very well. How many can do it? It is not very easy. Right? Most people, I remember one time I was teaching the course on Nectar of Instruction in the Middle East. Now, you know, people in the Middle East, they make quite good salaries. They're quite wealthy, maybe more so than people in India. But when I said to them, so, here's the instruction, give 50%. How many of you can do it? Of course, not many put their hand up. Anyway, Koloveka Sridhar, he was doing it. And when Lord Chaitanya had sat on the throne at Srivas Angam and he had called Sridhar to come and take blessings, he had invited Sridhar that just tell me whatever you want, I can give you. Wealth, property, just tell me anything you like. I will be happy to bestow my blessings on you. But Sridhar said, just let me go on as I am doing. Whatever income I get, I spend 50% to worship Mother Ganges. Please bless me that I can continue in this way. So Lord Chaitanya was very satisfied with the pure mood of Koloveka Sridhar. When he came with the Sankirtan party, when he came there with the Sankirtan party to the home of Sridhar, and he saw the water pot, you know, it was not a nice water pot. It had been repaired many times. You know, he was a poor man. You know, nowadays people, you get something wrong with your water pot, oh, throw it away, we'll get a new one, right? We're like that. We don't repair things very much these days. Everything, as soon as it breaks down, throw it out, get a new one. We're in the consumer age. However, Koloveka Sridhar was a poor man. His home was broken down. His cloth was old and ragged. But he lived happily, chanting the holy name. So he had this one water pot outside his door. And it had been repaired many times. Maybe it was used to wash the feet before entering. Anyway, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there and he picked up that pot and he drank that water. Now Kolavekar Sridhar, seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu drink that water, it did not give pleasure to his heart. He felt great pain in his heart. He thought, oh no, what is my Lord doing? How can he do this? But it is the nature of the Lord that he likes to enjoy the remnants of his devotee. We can give some examples that just like Sudama Vipra came there to Dwarka and he had brought some dry rice to give to the Lord, but he didn't want to give it because he didn't consider it suitable. He considered it very insignificant, a very unworthy thing to give the Lord. He felt ashamed to give it to the Lord. But Krishna found it anyway and took some of it and said it was nectar. We also hear when Maharaj Yudhisthira, the Pandavas were all in exile and Durvasa had come with his disciples to visit them. Draupadi had her pot, and in her pot there was only some leaf of spinach or something there. There was nothing much there. But Krishna came running from Dwarka to accept it. He accepted the remnants of the Pandavas. So it's the nature of the Lord. Just as we like to eat the remnants of the Lord likes to eat the remnants of his devotees. And he took that water and relished every drop of that water because he knew this is coming from the home of Sridhar. And Sridhar is my very pure devotee. So this was the loving dealing between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotee. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reciprocates with the devotees. At the same time, if one is against the principles of religion, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes of a very different nature. Just like on one occasion, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was describing the glories of the holy name to the devotees. But there was one person, one of the students was there, and he began to challenge. He said, this cannot be true. This is just some exaggeration in the scriptures. It's only being said like that to encourage people to chant. It's not really possible. In other words, he was committing an offense, artavada. He was giving some interpretation of the holy name. He was not understanding the real potency behind the chanting of the holy name. Right? To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imaginary, this is an offense. And to give some interpretation of the holy name, this is an offense. So when the student said like that, then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately turned to all of the students and said, don't look on that person's face. You never look on his face. And Lord Chaitanya immediately left that place, ran to the Ganges and threw himself in the Ganges with all of his dress on, to purify himself. Lord Chaitanya was teaching us and all of his devotees how we don't want to hear the blasphemy of the non-devotees. We want to associate with the devotees, with the pure-hearted devotees. And we're very careful to avoid the association of non-devotees. Sadhu Sangha, very important for all of us to advance in Krishna consciousness. And at the same time, associating with non-devotees is very painful and detrimental to our Krishna consciousness. We have to be very cautious. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada established this Krishna consciousness mission to help all of us to remain faithful devotees, to give us the association. Prabhupada explains, just like there are communities of lawyers, you have the lawyer association, and you have the merchants association, you have the association of people who are accountants, you have the association of bankers. So this is the association of devotees. And in the association of devotees, there will always be the chanting of the holy name and the discussion of topics of Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to inaugurate this wonderful Sankirtan movement. However, although he appeared here in Mayapur, it was not arranged that he would remain here in Mayapur. And eventually it came to pass that the Lord also left this Mayapur Dham. Because again, some offenses were made in chanting of the holy name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in the mood of the gopis, and he was chanting the names of the gopis when one of his students came. And one of the students, hearing him chant the names of the gopis, the student foolishly instructed him, "Why are you chanting the names of the gopis? You should chant Krishna's name. Krishna's name's all powerful. Why are you chanting names of the gopis?" So hearing this from the student, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in the mood of the gopis, and he was experiencing the particular mood which sometimes Srimati Radharani will feel in relation to Krishna, where she feels angry towards Lord Krishna and she doesn't want to have his association. She doesn't want to even hear his name. So it was at this time this student had come there instructing Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya, hearing the name of Krishna, he became angry and he took a stake and he ran after that student. That student then ran away and told all the other students that this Nimai Pandit has become proud. He wants to beat me. I told him to chant the name of Krishna and he wants to beat me. So all of the other students then supported this student and they all said, we will beat him. We will go and attack Chaitanya. We will beat Nimai Pandit. We will show him. So then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then reflected on the situation, that he thought that I have come here in this world to deliver the fallen souls. But if they will all turn on me and attack me, then how will I ever deliver them? Rather, they will all go, they will get some hellish destination, and I will be responsible for it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then reflected on what was to be done, and he decided the suitable solution to the situation was that he should accept sannyas. And so in this way, Lord Chaitanya prepared himself to leave the family life and to go into the renounced order. He swam across the Ganga. Before going, he first of all told a few of his confidential associates. He told his own mother, Sachimata. He told Nitai, and he told Gadadhar, he told Makunda, and then in the morning, early in the morning, while everyone was still asleep, he swam across the Ganga to Katwa and found Keshava Bharati Maharaj and convinced Keshava Bharati Maharaj to initiate him into the renounced order of life. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Mayapur. Just as there are parallels between the different pastimes of Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For example, the kirtan at the home of Srivas Angam is non-different from Krishna dancing Rasa Lila in Vrindavan. In the same way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaving Mayapur and accepting the renounced order of life is not different from Krishna leaving Vrindavan and going to Mathura to take part in the wrestling match. Of course, when the chariot came to bring Krishna from Vrindavan to Mathura, the gopis, they did not want Krishna to go. So similarly, the inhabitants of Mayapur, they did not want Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to ever leave here. They wanted him to remain here. And we can say actually the Lord does remain here because this is Mayapur Dham. The Dham means the place where the Lord resides eternally. The Lord's pastimes are going on here even today. And those who are purified, they can actually see them. Just as His Divine Grace Om Vishnupad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada sometimes would go out in the night and he would meet the kirtan party of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He could actually see the kirtan party performing. So it is going on eternally. This is Mayapur Dham. We have to take the advantage of this holy place, that one day maybe we will also become eligible to enter into the Sankirtan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then our life is successful. Just as Krishna has Goloka in the spiritual world, Lord Chaitanya also has Mayapur in the spiritual world. There is also Mayapur in the spiritual world. And we may one day be fortunate enough to enter into the Sankirtan Leela of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and take part in that eternal pastime. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki. Okay. Hare Krishna. Any question? Anybody has any? We still have some minutes left. If anybody had a question you want to ask. Prasadam, huh? Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Prabhu, question? We got a mic? Prasadam?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes?
Dandavat Pranam. Maharaj, the way you have narrated the first time of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's really overwhelming. But here is a question, Maharaj, that in the age of Kali, people, including me, are getting bewildered about the knowledge of scripture, and we are not acting accordingly. So who is responsible for this? Is it Kali or any other reasons for that?
Thank you for your question, Prabhu. Very nice. Very glad to hear from you. I would suggest that the cause of our confusion is our conditioned existence. That we have appeared, certainly we can say it is Kali Yuga, but Kali Yuga can also be a golden age. It is said the demigods want to take birth on this planet in the Kali Yuga. There are great benefits of the Kali Yuga, because simply by chanting the holy name, one can get all perfection. It's the easiest of all the ages to become perfect. Why are we therefore bewildered? It is our conditioning due to our association with the material energy. As we associate with the material energy, so we are influenced. Therefore, we must be careful to protect ourselves from that kind of association. The material energy is Krishna's energy, so it's very powerful. And certainly we are easily bewildered. Prabhupada would sometimes talk about the bright lights. You know, the display of, in the big cities, so many bright lights and signboards, all offering inducements, some different kinds of sense gratification, inviting us. Therefore, we must be very strong in our Krishna consciousness to overcome these tendencies. And the way in which we can become strong is simply by practicing a good sadhana. A good sadhana is based on hearing and chanting. And hearing and chanting is best performed in the association of devotees. So when we get the right association, there is no problem. Just like living here in Mayapur Dham, people are not bewildered, they're not confused by the material energy, because Mayapur Dham is a spiritual abode. There's ample opportunities for regular hearing and chanting, constant distribution of prasadam. These things go on all the time. We want to take advantage of these places. Of course, not everybody can live here in Mayapur Dham. You have to go to the material world. You may have to go to Calcutta or bigger cities like Delhi and Mumbai, these places where the age of Kali is in full force. But even there, we can also take shelter of Krishna by regularly hearing and chanting, studying Srila Prabhupada's books. As Lord Chaitanya asked Lord Nityananda and Haridas, tell people to chant the holy name, to worship Krishna and read the books about Krishna. Now if we follow if we do these things, then we will see that there's no problem from this age of Kali. It's not a problem. It's a benefit, because we have a short life. We don't have to stay here very long. We don't have a long life. And we can simply chant the holy name and we can experience great happiness. We get wonderful philosophy, wonderful arguments to present the Krishna consciousness movement from the books of Srila Prabhupada. And if we take advantage of these things, then we won't be affected by the material energy. We will feel the power of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Yes, Prabhu has
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for the wonderful Leelas of Gaura Mahaprabhu. As you said, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inaugurated the Sankirtan movement, and it is spreading by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. It is spreading in the nook and corner of the world on this earth planet. But we are told that for the next 10,000 years this will spread. My question is that for the next 10,000 years, it is spreading day by day. And what will happen actually after 10,000 years? All of a sudden, how will it be crushed? Because of the sinful activities of the effect of the Kali, how can the effect of Kali overpower the Sankirtan movement? Because as Prabhupada has also said, for the 10,000 years, my books will show the guidelines to the humanity. So why 10,000 years?
Yes, well, 10,000 years is there because it's described in, I'm not sure exactly which scripture, but it's there that there's a golden age in the Kali Yuga. And that golden age is for 10,000 years. Just like in the winter, sometimes in the winter season, you may get some summer days. So similarly, in the Kali Yuga, there is something of a golden age, where there is a, and it begins from the time when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, 500 years ago, more. So he began that golden era of the chanting of the holy name. And it's predicted that it would go on for 10,000 years in this Kali Yuga. But just like in the winter, you know, you get some good days and then it comes back winter again. The cold weather comes back in. So although the golden age will be there and the chanting of the holy name will be distributed, the devotees will all be delivered, the devotees will all go back to Godhead, and those non-believers, they'll be left here, right? So then the influence of the age of Kali will become very strong, because all these non-believers, they will perish in the influence of Kali Yuga, and they will take demonic births, lifetime after lifetime. And in this way, Kali Yuga is 427,000 years, right? 400 something, 32,000 years, right? 5,000 years have passed, so 427,000 years remaining. Then 10,000 is the golden era, and then, you know, 400 plus years of Kali Yuga, bad age, dark age. Yes, but after the Kali Yuga, then again Satya Yuga comes, and the great sages are there in the Himalayas. They're waiting for the Kali Yuga to end, and when that Kali Yuga is over, the great sages will come down and we'll begin again the Satya Yuga. So everything goes on. This creation is an opportunity for all of us. There are two purposes to creation. One is to allow us to satisfy our material desires. We just want to remain here. We have no desire other than sense gratification. So the material world facilitates that. And the other reason is the material world also provides an opportunity for us to perfect ourselves and to get out of this material world, to go back to Godhead. So the devotees will take shelter of the Sankirtan movement and they'll go back to Godhead. They won't wait. They don't have to wait for the end of Kali Yuga. They don't have to. Other people, they may go up to Brahmaloka. They have to wait for the end of the lifetime of Lord Brahma before they get liberated. We're only in the 52nd year of the lifetime of Brahma. You know, so very, very long time you have to wait in Brahmaloka before you can ever get liberated. But if we take to the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then directly we can go back to Godhead. Right? So we say in Sanskrit, Subhashya Sigram. Right? Auspicious thing, we should do it immediately. So let us all immediately take to the chanting of the holy name and immerse ourselves in this Sankirtan and go back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki.